I'm excited to talk to you today. And Eric and I are actually in Worre Studios doing an event for one of the companies, one of our corporate clients. So I had to actually jump into my car because there are so many people in the studio and it's so loud. So I hope my connection here as well, and we can have a chat. So if you guys have any questions, put in the comments below. But if not, one thing I want to talk about, and it was actually, it came up in the event that we're doing today. It's oftentimes, especially in network marketing, we don't necessarily realize that it's a business, right? It's a business that we need to treat as such, because oftentimes when people come into network marketing, they do not necessarily realize that it's a serious opportunity, because on one side they want to make a lot of money, they want to kind of like have a lifestyle and time freedom and all these different perks and things and money, but at the same time they're not necessarily treating it seriously like they would if it's a job or if it's something else, right? So I think first of all, it's important for us to realize that the way we're gonna treat everything that we do in life, that's the outcome that we're gonna get from it. So if we start thinking about network marketing as a serious business opportunity and start treating it as such, I think it's gonna be so much better and so much more productive, because we're just gonna start thinking about it in a different way. Like, for example, when you join your company, did you really create like a business plan? Did you really understand what you're signing up for, right? Did you realize that it's a new business venture, it's a profession that has its own skills, right? That's going to take time to develop those skills. It's going to take time to realize how things work, right? To understand what generates the biggest results. Also because network marketing, it's one of the professions that it's heavily reliant on personal development. Personal development plays another huge role in everything we do, because we're dealing with people, right? Everything is about relationships. Everything is about building connections and offering products and services that you're representing inside of your company to those relationships. Some of them are old relationships that you already have, like what we call a hot market, right? People that you know, your friends, your family, acquaintances, people that you work on a daily basis. And the cold market are the people that you haven't met yet. And what is interesting, a lot of people, for whatever reason, think that your business opportunity inside of network marketing is determined by the amount of people you know when you joined your network marketing opportunity. And that's not true. Because if you think about like, oh, I know a lot of people, so I have a lot of opportunity in front of me. Yes, that's kind of like good that you have a lot of connections, that you have a lot of relationships that you can tap into. But one thing is, do not limit yourself just by thinking that if you do not know a lot of people, that means that your business cannot scale or cannot grow. Because every single time when we do events, and sometimes they ask the audience, like big leaders, how many people you knew when you joined your business, and how many people you met through the years of building business, growing your skill set, becoming a better leader, and all these different connections were developed over time. And you would be surprised that a lot of leaders say that most of their rock stars, most of their top leaders inside of their organization, they met way later. They did not know them the moment they joined their network marketing opportunity. So for those of you who do not have a lot of relationships yet or a lot of connections yet, I think it's a great news, because meeting people, getting to know people, it's a skill, right? It's a skill that once you join your opportunity, it's taught by different leaders, how you can meet more people, how you can pretty much create unlimited amount of leads, that you have more leads and more people to talk to than you have time, right? Wouldn't that be a good thing? So, but what I want to kind of like touch base today on mostly is recognizing that network marketing is a business opportunity. And as a business opportunity, it has important business metrics, right? Like key performance indicators, KPI. And oftentimes when people join network marketing, they just try to wing it, right? There's like, oh, let me talk to a couple people, let's see what they say. They're not necessarily, like I said, creating a business plan. They're not necessarily creating like a step-by-step process, what they're going to do, right? What am I going to do to find more people to talk to? What am I going to do, like how I'm going to improve my presenting skills? Because presenting is not necessarily something that a lot of people know and have it in their back pocket, right? Like if you talk about public speaking, most of the people are petrified of public speaking. If we go into statistics, 61% of the population is petrified of public speaking. And I was one of those 61%. It took me time in years to kind of like practice and get better. I still kind of like once in a while get those little butterflies when I go on stage. But I think one of my goals was to learn and get from the stress, get out of my head and into my heart, and help people see hopefully the value that I have to offer, but also have fun on stage, right? To be able to bring the value, connect with people on such a deep and emotional level that they can hear the message, right? So I'm not going to be like scaring them with my emotions and kind of like not being able to get the words out of my mouth because I'm so worried about how do I look. And one funny fact about speaking and about the public speaking that Courtney says that she didn't know that. That's like the first time I was kind of like on the big stage speaking, it was not fun. So people who saw me speak, first time, I don't know, I would say probably 15 years ago, I'm sorry. If you had to be in that room, I'm truly sorry, because I was pretty much reading my notes and I tried to do it with a tonality and a little bit of emotion, but it was bad. It was pretty bad. But one thing, kind of like one tip for those of you who worried about public speaking and presenting, because it's a big part of what we do, right? We talk to people, we share our opportunity, we share our products, we tell people what we have to offer, and we need to connect on an emotional level. We need to build that trust, we need to build that connection, that people, first of all, through some of their filters of like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, or whatever, can actually, put those guards down and listen what you have to offer. At least be open, right? At least be open, because we're not twisting anybody's arm. We're not forcing anybody to do something they don't want to do. But at least we want to try and build that rapport of trust. Well, people can actually hear, at least hear. Once they hear and understand what they have to offer, at least they can make an educated decision. And that's what we're asking for, right? So one of the lessons that I learned about the speaking is it's very kind of like ego-driven emotion. The speaking fear, right? The stage, kind of like, I don't know, how do you call them, tremors or whatever they are. It's mostly because we're in our head, and the question that is rolling in our mind is, how do I look? How do I sound? What people think of me, right? So it's an ego-driven emotion. It's all about me. How do I sound? How do I look? What do they think of me? So it's all centered around ourselves. Instead, when we want to bring the message across, when we want people to hear it and connect and be open-minded and relate to what we have to say, and potentially find themselves in our stories or find themselves in our vision when we're painting the opportunity for people and telling them what's possible, so they can see themselves being at that rank, or being having a time freedom, or whatever like as part of your story. It's not about us, it's about them. So we need to learn how to think about them first and put people in the audience first, instead of how do I sound. So every time when I go on stage, and if I have like a little bit of worrisome, it's like, it's not about me, it's about them. What can I do, and how can I present my stories, my content, my speech, my presentation in such a way that they can hear it, that they can relate to it, that they can find themselves in it. And that helps me to kind of like shift from myself, from my ego, from that fear into more of a service and serving state of mind where it's not about me, it's about them. Because if that's my main goal, it doesn't matter how I sound, right? It doesn't matter how I look. It doesn't matter if they do not necessarily like how my hair is tied or whatever, as long as they can hear my message and as long as they can relate to it, as long as they can understand it and make an educated decision based on that message, that's all that matters. So that was one very big shift for me. And another quick tip I'll give you as well is why when people go on stage, there are two different emotions, right? Actually, I learned that from Tony Robbins. So he told a quick story when, because Tony worked with a lot of people who are worried about speaking, who like politicians and big CEOs who need to be like really eloquent speakers, but at the same time, they're not necessarily the best. So he asked Bruce Springsteen, I was like, tell me, describe the emotion. What do you feel when you go on stage? What's going through your mind? What's going through your body? And he said that, like, you know what? When I hear the crowd calling my name and cheering and clapping, I have all this, excitement that it's going through my body. I have all that energy, and I'm just like, my heart is pounding in my chest. The palms of my hands are getting sweaty and I'm getting ready and I'm like so excited and I'm ready to rock it and I'm ready to crush it. So then he asked another politician who was not necessarily the best speaker, and he says like, okay, tell me, what do you feel when you go on stage, when you're about to step on that podium, and what is happening, what is going through your mind, what is going through your body? And the person says like, you know what, when I hear the crowd calling my name and clapping and cheering, I was like, I have like my heart is pounding in my chest, and it's like, and palms of my hands are getting sweaty, and I feel that all that anxiety, all that energy is going through my body. It's like, it's not fun. It's just like all that anxiety in me. So I hope you noticed both gentlemen described exactly the same emotion. Exactly the same. The same palms getting sweaty, the heart is pounding in their chest, the energy, right? But the only difference was one called it excitement and another one called it anxiety. So again, it's one coin. It's just two different sides of it. And how you look at it and what you tell, what story you tell yourself, I'm excited or I'm anxious, that's exactly how you're going to feel. So anytime when you believe that you're going on stage and you're having a little bit of that worrisome energy, remind yourself that it's excitement. It's not the fear. It's not an anxiety. It's actually the energy of excitement, and go from that place. So hope that was helpful. But back to the whole business, right? So if we decide and realize that network marketing is a business, it's a business opportunity, and business laws apply to it, one of the most important things that we're trying to do is do the deep inventory inside of our organization and find out people who are willing, coachable, and hungry, right? Those are three core elements that we want people to have in order to develop the leadership skills, in order to help them create that business plan, in order to help them to achieve those goals. And first of all, find out what are their goals, right? Because most of the time when people come into our profession, they just, like I said, they're just winging it and trying to throw on the wall and see if it sticks. Instead, if we help them to shift their mindset a little bit and say, hey, listen, this is a business, right? So let's start with your goals. What do you